The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Okay, bonus show time. Utah has essentially declared war on pornography. And they are not just doing that. They are not just saying it. They are spending money on it. I mean, serious money. So,
and they're also spending serious money on porn. As we know, Utah, one of the biggest consumers of porn in the U.S.
Yes. And maybe that's why. Maybe it was that data that led them to this type of legislation.
Yeah.
Who can say? I suppose they could say. But let's be honest here. This has more to do with religion than data. And the lawmakers have passed this resolution declaring it a public health crisis. And this is important, Dave. Don't laugh. This is a serious matter.
Very serious.
You know, people could die. Society must see this evil epidemic. Excuse me, I read that wrong. Society must see this evil like the epidemic it is, said Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, member of the Church of Latter-day Saints Quorum of the 12 Apostles.
Right. The Mormons do not like porn. On the record, that is.
Yeah. Okay. Quote, this ought to seem like a public health crisis, like a war, like an infectious, fatal epidemic, like a moral plague on the body politic that is maiming the lives of our citizens, maiming people's lives. Very descriptive. So anyway, this is what's going on. And of course, many religious people are all about this. And I'm not sure how the people feel about it, but I'm sure considering the religious population of Utah, many are
claim to be in favor, of course.
Claiming to be in favor of it. I guess nearly 3,000 people attended this UCAP conference. 15 years ago, it was 200 people.
Right. Making
strides here. And there's just so much going on around this. Now, one of the most interesting things about this is this appointment of a position being referred to as the porn czar. Now, this is a woman who is a Mormon. Paula Houston has been appointed to this job. This position pays about $150,000 a year to cover her job, to cover the job of her assistant. And I'm still not really sure what she does, but
she's the czar.
She's the first ever obscenity and pornography complaints ombudsman.
Small government, you know?
Small government. That's right. Very small government. And so this is what she's been dubbed, the porn czar. And I guess recently her sex life has come into question.
Right.
The big surprise, right?
Yeah.
But that's what's going on. And Utah is this is kind of like the war on drugs. It's kind of like the war on terror. It's a war you're not going to win.
It's a never-ending war.
It's a never-ending war that you are going to continue to throw money at. You know, the funny thing is,
it's not even clear who you're fighting. Are you fighting the porn actors, the producers, or the consumers? Or all of them? I don't know. Or Obama, maybe.
I'm sure Obama has something to do with this,
yeah,
if you ask them. But what are you going to do? Because I think what you can do is, if you want to feel good about yourself, you can stop production in your state. You can stop...
Don't know that there is porn production anyway in Utah.
Right. I don't think it's legal there. And there's any number of things you can do to try and control the situation. Ultimately, people in Utah are going to have the internet.
Right.
And they're going to be able to access things from other countries where this stuff, even if you shut it all down in the United States, it's still going to happen in other countries. And people who have the internet are going to have access to that. You cannot win.
Well, unless you want to start blocking parts of the internet, as Donald Trump said, is easy to do.
Well, you can do that. That is true. You can do that. But it's not easy to do. And there are always ways around it. And so no matter what, this is a battle that they are just not going to win.
Right.
So it's just, I feel bad for the taxpayers over there who don't want money to be thrown at this. What can you do? You can't do much in Utah. There's pretty much it's a stranglehold, if you will. Anyway, there's this, I think we covered this video of the police raid of a marijuana dispensary in California. I don't know, did we show this video or did I just watch it online on my own?
It's not ringing a bell to me.
It's not, okay. There are many videos like this, but in this particular video, I think you see the cops destroy some cameras, but there are hidden cameras that they didn't know about. And there's this raid, and then the cops are kind of hanging around. They're playing darts. It's just kind of a strange scene. And, of course, they didn't know about these extra hidden cameras. The cameras caught these police officers stealing snacks. Now, I don't mean pot edibles. I mean the employees had food there for them to eat. And
it almost would be more logical that they were stealing edible marijuana, right? Than just stealing someone's Twizzlers.
Exactly. They were stealing protein bars and things like that. So the police officers here, Brandon Matthew Sontag, Nicole Lynn, how do you pronounce that? Quijas? Quijas?
Yeah.
It seems like it might be Spanish.
Yes. I'm not looking at it, but I trust your judgment.
Jorge Arroyo, all charged with one misdemeanor count of theft for their roles in this, which is good.
Oh, QUI. Yeah, the U is silent. I'm sorry. Now I'm just thinking about it now without looking at it. Yes.
The U is silent.
Yes.
And so Quijas.
Right.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. I had a Spanish lesson on the bonus show. Sontag was also charged with vandalism in connection with the smashing of these security cameras. Now, I would assume that they probably weren't told by their superiors to smash all cameras upon entering.
You would think that's something they came up with on their own.
Yeah. It was a legal raid. I mean, we could get into that whole thing.
Yeah.
But we won't get into that. Anyway, they, of course, were not prosecuted for the raid itself. And now they did not eat any marijuana edibles, but they did eat snacks, Mrs. Thinster cookies, and Detour Simple protein bars.
The question was whether they had the munchies because they had stolen some of the weed, right? That would be the real question here.
It's a valid question, and I can't say with certitude what happened. But what are you thinking? Why even bother? I don't get it. Yeah, only because they thought the cameras were destroyed and no one would notice. But really,
is this more proof that cameras do make a difference when we talk about body-mounted cameras and filming the police?
How can we say cameras don't make a difference?
Yeah.
How could we say cameras would possibly ever make anything worse? Right?
Well, I mean, I guess if you have people inadvertently in a video in something that is deceptively, that looks compromising but really shouldn't be, blah, 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 I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Violation of privacy, something. ... as we hear.
I don't care about that. Oh, there's one thing before I get to the North Korea story that I wanted to follow up on, because someone sent me an email on Uber Eats. Yesterday we covered Uber Eats, Uber's food delivery service.
Right.
Okay. I guess Uber Eats has been around for a little while because this listener told us that it was being used tested in Toronto. So here we go. I live in Toronto, where Uber Eats has been around 4 to 5 months. Uber used Toronto as a testing ground for this service. Uber Eats has two different functions. They have the regular order form from a restaurant and get to you in 30 to 45 minutes. But the option I use more regularly is the instant delivery, where Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., they have a set menu of 5 to 6 items from various restaurants, and you can order something and get it delivered within 3 to 6 minutes. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
There are multiple drivers around the city with different food items in their car. I've used it quite a few times, and only once was I really not satisfied with what I got. Otherwise, it's great. And it has become pretty popular here in Toronto. The pricing, the instant delivery service charge, $2 delivery fee. The regular service delivery charge, $5. So, if you are fine limiting yourself in your options, this is pretty nice.
It's interesting. So the Uber drivers drive around with the items. I obviously, my curiosity is, are these cold items, or do they have a way of keeping these items warm? Or is the idea that they just deliver it at room temperature, but then you heat it up if that's what you want? Those are the kinds of questions that I'm having now.
There they are. There's Dave's questions. Most people don't tip. these services, since it's basically included in the delivery charge, I would say that there's more of a tipping culture in the United States. Might be more expected here. Anyway, thank you for the information on Uber Eats. Really doesn't sound that bad.
No.
Extra $2 and you get your food within 3 to 6 minutes. Okay. North Korea story. It's time. It's been too long. North Korea, the country I will one day liberate with an army led by me, has imprisoned a U.S. student for 15 years, more specifically 15 years of hard labor for crimes against the state.
Right.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Otto Warmbier. What a name. Warmbier. I don't like the sound of that. Was arrested for trying to steal a propaganda sign from a hotel while visiting North Korea in January. He later appeared on state TV confessing, saying that a church group asked him to bring back a trophy from his trip. Yeah, his church group recommended something this fucking stupid. You don't mess around in North Korea. You just don't do that. This guy's an idiot. His church group, full of idiots. If this is true. Because he also says something else that I think they clearly put in front of him to read. And that is, let's see. Where is that exact quote? Well, I guess North Korea said that he had gone to North Korea to destroy the country's unity and he had been manipulated by the U.S. government. I think if you're going to do that, you're going to do more than just steal a propaganda sign. But his quote was, "The aim of my task was to harm the motivation and work ethic of the Korean people.
Yeah.
This was a very foolish aim." He did not write that.
It seems to me that there is no chance that that is his statement.
They probably took a few years off his sentence to read that.
Yeah.
And
listen, it's going to be 20 years, but if you say that this was your aim or allow us to, I mean, why would they even ask permission? It seems one way or another that wasn't his idea to make that statement.
No, and that's the statement that the North Korean people are going to hear.
Yeah.
And that's the exact statement that it just fits perfectly with their whole propaganda campaign.
Of course.
I think that's very telling. So this, I don't even know if I feel bad for this guy. I don't think the U.S. is going to do anything to try and intervene here.
Really?
Why would they?
Oh, they're going to.
No. There have been situations where journalists, others have been held, and we've barely done anything.
Well, barely is sort of subjective. I believe the U.S. will be involved in this, maybe not in a public way, but I think the U.S. will be involved in trying to get this guy back.
And do you think we should?
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. I mean, as a general thing, you go to another country and you break the laws, you're subject to the laws of that country. However, we are talking about North Korea, a radical dictatorship that is completely disconnected from reality. So is there not some responsibility for the U.S. government to try to help? I think the U.S. government should try to help, but ultimately you're sort of going at your own risk. I can't imagine the U.S. State Department advises travel to North Korea.
Right. Unlikely. I'm in agreement. We should try to help, but I don't feel bad for this guy, and if nothing happens, I don't care.
Now, what if he didn't actually try to steal anything? What if even that is fake? Would you feel worse then?
Well, if that turns out to be true, then yes, we should get him out of there.
All right.
As
And how
Donald Trump
would
say.
we even know that? Because the U.S. is in the U.S. These are crimes he's accused of in another country. How would we actually figure out what the truth is?
We'd have to hear it from him when he's on U.S. soil.
So you'd have to decide before to bring him back on the assumption that it could be false and then wait to see what he says once he's back. It's not very consistent.
If we use our leverage and we can get someone over there to talk to him
Yeah.
in person in a private room.
Private room. Private room in the North Korean prison, right?
Private room wherever.
Yeah.
If we want to throw our body weight around, we might be able to get the truth. I think he probably did it.
Okay.
It seems like something that if you are an ignorant person, you wouldn't be doing 15 years of physical labor, hard time for, right?
I don't know.
That's what someone who isn't very bright might think. And I'm just going to steal this little sign from a hotel in North Korea, and who's even going to notice or care? I mean, can't you just go on Google and look at it and print out a picture of a North Korean propagandist?
Yeah.
And why was he there in the first place? Did his church group send him? Was he covertly proselytizing?
I'd love to go to North Korea.
I'd love to go too. But I don't think that we should, because they search for us. They're going to find things about North Korea, and
Could
when
be
we're
bad.
there, they're going to look for any reason to keep us there. So I would not recommend that either one of us go to North Korea
Fair enough.
at all.
Fair.
Does that make sense?
It makes some sense, yeah.
Okay.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.